Good Wednesday morning, friends, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you happen to join together. For those that I may not know, I'm Reverend Jennifer Finley, your Momentum and Discipleship Pastor here at First United Methodist Church in Kirksville. And this is our midweek time to simply pause in the middle of the week, in the middle of all that swirls in our world, and to take a deep breath together. And if you're anything like me, you may still be taking a deep breath along with coffee or tea. I had a late night last night with our college students as we finished up the semester together with our finals pancakes. So I am still most definitely drinking my coffee this morning. Wherever you happen to be, I hope that you are finding a moment to simply pause together and to wonder about our faith together, to wonder where we find God's presence with us. For there is a lot that swirls in our world, whether it's in the news or in our own lives. This is a season of transition as students are graduating, as people move, as we move from maybe I'd really need more coffee. As we move from the rhythms of one time of year into the very different rhythms of summer and whatever that might bring. And wherever you happen to find yourselves in all that swirls, sometimes we need to ask that question. Where are we finding God in the midst of all of that? And as I thought about that for myself, I came across a book this last week. It was a book that I had skimmed through when a dear friend gave it to me a while back. But then I had put it on a stack of other books, that stack that I will get to sometime. Those of you who know me well know I love books. Maybe you're like that as well. But I always have a stack of books that I'm going to dive deeply into at some point. And that doesn't always happen. But this last weekend, I took a moment and I pulled this off that stack. And I thought I would share a piece of it with you today and maybe in the coming weeks, because God met me in these pages. And it was also a reminder that sometimes God meets us in things that are very specifically about God, and sometimes God meets us in things that were not specifically written about God. This is a lovely book called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Now I know the illustration's way backwards for you. It's by Charlie Mackesy, and it's just lovely. So I thought I'd share a few pages with you. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Hello. You started at the beginning, which is impressive. I usually start in the middle and never read introductions. I like that. It's surprising that I've made a book because I'm not good at reading them. The truth is, I need pictures. They are like islands, places to get to in a sea of words. This book is for everyone, whether you are 80 or 8. I feel like I'm both sometimes. I like it to be one you can dip into anywhere, anytime. Start in the middle if you like. Scribble on it. Crease the corners and leave it well thumbed. The drawings are mainly of a boy, a mole, a fox, and a horse. I'll tell you a little bit about them, although I'm sure you'll see things here that I don't, so I'll be quick. The boy is lonely when the mole first surfaces. They spend time together gazing into the wild. I think the wild is a bit like life, frightening sometimes, but beautiful. In their wanderings, they meet the fox. It's never going to be easy meeting a fox if you're a mole. The boy is full of questions. The mole is greedy for cake. The fox is mainly silent and wary because he's been hurt by life. The horse is the biggest thing they have ever encountered and also the gentlest. They are all different, like us, and each has their own weaknesses. I can see myself in all 4 of them. Perhaps you can too. Their adventures happen in springtime, where one moment snow is falling and the sun shines. The next, which is also a little bit like life, it can turn on a sixpence. I think we all know that sense, how the weather can change at a moment's notice this time of year, and how life can sometimes change so very quickly. I hope this book encourages you, perhaps to live courageously with more kindness for yourself and for others, and to ask for help when you need it, which is always a brave thing to do. When I was making the book, I often wondered, who on earth am I to be doing this? But as the horse says, the truth is, everyone is winging it. So I say, spread your wings and follow your dreams. This book is one of mine. I hope you enjoy it. And so it starts. Hello, with the boy and a small mole. I'm so small, said the mole. Yes, said the boy, but you make a huge difference. How many of us have said that? I'm so small, but you make a huge difference. What do you want to be when you grow up? The mole asked. Kind, said the boy. What do you think success is? Asked the boy. To love, said the mole. And then there's a lovely illustration, and I know you probably can't see this well, but there's a cake and there's a mole. And the mole says, well, hello there, to the cake. And then the boy and the mole are walking. Do you have a favorite saying? Asked the boy. Yes, said the mole. What is it? If at first you don't succeed, have some cake. I love that. I see. Does it work? Every time. And then there's a series of pictures where the mole is just going to take a tiny bit of cake, and well, we know how that works for any of us. One nibble leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and then the cake is gone. I got some delicious cake, said the mole. Did you? Yes. Where is it? I ate it, said the mole. Oh, said the boy, but I got you another. Did you? Where is that one? The same thing seems to have happened. Now the boy and the mole are sitting on a branch, just looking out at the world. What do you think is the biggest waste of time? Said the boy. Comparing yourself to others, said the mole. I wonder if there is a school of unlearning, said the boy. I know many of us probably need that school of unlearning to compare ourselves to others. Then there's a beautiful colored picture as the boy and the mole are sitting on the branch staring out at the world. Most of the old moles I know wish they had listened less to their fears and more to their dreams. Then they're looking out towards the wild. What is that over there? It's the wild, said the mole. Don't fear it. Imagine how we would be if we were less afraid. And it's nighttime now, and the boy and the mole are staring out, and up behind them comes a fox. And the boy and the mole meet the fox. I'm not afraid, said the mole to the fox. And the fox says, if I wasn't caught in this snare, I'd kill you. And the mole says, if you stay in that snare, you will die. So the mole chewed through the wire with his tiny little teeth to free the fox. And then the mole says to the boy, one of our greatest freedoms is how we react to things. And then they sit and they admire and think for a while about that. And then the fox comes by, now free. And the mole says, I've learned how to be in the present. How? Asked the boy. I find a quiet spot and shut my eyes and breathe. That's good. And then? Then I focus. What do you focus on? Cake, said the mole. Isn't it odd? We can only see our outsides, but nearly everything happens on the inside, said the mole. And then there's a series of events that happens as the boy is looking into a pond, and then the mole falls in. And lo and behold, the fox comes to rescue the mole. And then the boy gives the fox a hug. And they all sit staring out into the wild of the night and say, so much beauty we need to look after. So much beauty we need to look after. God met me in that phrase. This isn't a book written about God. It's got some beauty to it, and it's got some humor in it. But God met me in that reminder that there's so much beauty to look after. whether that shows up in our friendships, in our conversations, in our time together at church or online, in our time together here in this space, in this time together. There is so much beauty to look after. And I know that God comes alongside us to do that together. So I hope God perhaps met you in some of those words, and I'll plan to see you here again next week in this space, maybe with a few more words of these books. Go in peace, my friends.